Welcome to everybody who clicked on the link to this video. It's greatly appreciated. This is my first video. There's some live commentary. I just want to, I've sat for a couple of hours building this big, huge, massive precinct, and I just want to show everybody what it looks like, go through all the nooks and crannies, and just give a bit of an idea of where I want to go with this, what it's going to be, how it's going to come out. Because the truth of the matter being is that, Conan just does not give the respect it deserves. And quite frankly, this is an amazing game which has some absolutely crazy building mechanics where you can build absolutely mammoth structures and creations. And this is pretty much mine on the new map of Siptah. And right now we're just starting out from the outside over here. This is the show caller, for the sake of a better word, the Royal Precinct. And over here you can see this is our entrance. I started with some sandstone just to make sure that I kind of like knew where I wanted to go, how I wanted to build, what it would look like. Admittedly, I did cheat. This is a solo campaign, so it is like a locally hosted game. So to be dead honest, I did do a couple of cheats to spawn most of this material, because really if I was to sit and mine this and try and mine all the stone and start creating all these different walls and floors and foundations and everything, it would have taken me 50 times longer than it actually took me. So yes, I will admit I did cheat, but the way I looked at it is, you know what, I could have built this stuff. It would have just taken a lot longer, but I'm happy. That's cool, and we'll just see where we can go from there. So unfortunately I could only build up to this point here. That's pretty much the end of the building zone. Anywhere past this point here where the ramp ends and the stairs end, just down the bottom here, that's kind of like the ending point. You unfortunately can't build any further out on this map. So that's as far as I could build, because obviously I would have loved to have built further into the water, but that just wasn't going to be possible. So nonetheless, let's start from this outward view over here. Okay, there's the front. As you can see down the left there, we've got the left side of the rampart. Down the right, it's the right side of the rampart. We've got a couple of statues on either side of the main entrance, just to give it a bit of awe-inspiring appeal. The soldiers have got a trident, it looks like, and we are by the sea, I guess, so it suits the theme. So nonetheless, this is the Royal Precinct. There's a bit more building over there. You can see it hasn't quite spawned in, but that's because of the distance, but I will take everybody there eventually. But I think for now, let's just start off here. We'll see what we can do. I'll try and make this video as short as possible so that nobody really wants to sit through a half an hour or 45-minute video on somebody else's building. So I'll try to be as quick, succinct and short as possible, and break it down most probably into 3 separate little videos. So once again, this is where it starts. I used a couple of ceiling wedges and roof wedges, just add a bit of style, a bit of appearance, so that it doesn't look all flat and boring. And that's why I have all these. They look almost like practically upside down ice cream cones, to be dead honest, but who cares? It just seems to add a bit of interest to the design. So nonetheless, visitors to the Royal Precinct, they will come up here. You can see left and right we've got the stairs for the normal human beings. But hey, if there's animals, or there's a cart, or there's anything that requires a ramp, then obviously we've got the ramp that goes up the middle to the main door. So come up the stairs here. These little features here on either side, they're exactly the same. I haven't yet quite decided what I want to do with them. I could make them just little rest areas or bench areas where people can come and sit, and where the general community can come and sit and just admire the view of all the shipwrecks and the water and listen to the sea lapping the seashore. Or I could most probably make it an area where I have a couple of soldiers that are just, the guards for this area. But I'll let's think about that. I'll give it some thought. As you come in here, you can see the real point of this part here, up here, wasn't really for style or design features, although I tried to make it as such. I actually did it just for a bit of extra support, because sometimes you'll find that these ceilings, these wedge ceilings and these flat ceilings tend to be very complicated sometimes and finicky when it comes to you know, the building, like this part will work here but this part won't for some odd reason, but pretty much there's no difference between where they are and the supports, but that's just the way the building mechanic works. So you come up the stairs, you come down here. Up here we've got another little spot where you can enter from the courtyard over there. You come down here, you come down here, this is the left rampart. So we'll pop down here, we'll pop in there. I've got a couple of windows over here, primarily for all the archers. That was a bit of a weird spawn point in there. Anyway, the archers just stick their heads in there, see what's happening over there. So you come in here, you come down here, come through here. Right, I have a bit of a garden area over here. This is, I'm thinking of maybe just putting a couple of chairs there, bit of a rest area for the guards and the rear guards and the soldiers that are patrolling this area over here. So I think of what I want to do there. This is the wall to the throne room. I will take you in there just now. So nonetheless, this is just the inside area, a couple of windows on the side here so your archers can look out there, see what's happening out there, you know, put their bows through there, shoot a couple of bad guys trying to get onto the beach and trying to raid the place. This little building in the corner here, this is going to be something like an armory where I put a couple of weapons. You'll find that most of these areas don't quite have any decorations in them yet. I haven't quite got to that point yet because that's going to be a whole effort in itself. So for now, I've just done the framework, I've just done the shell, and I'm like, well, you know, I've got an idea for the theme, what it's going to look like. And as I progress and as I build up this place more and more and more, I start to replace the sandstone with other buildings, other building materials, and so forth, so on. But this is just a framework for now and the art with structure. So this is the armory, full ceiling up the top there, nothing up there really. You come through here, come up here, we got another little platform over here. Remember, that's the soldier here that I had with the trident. There, he's sitting there. Obviously, there's our sea view again. And this is just pretty much the rampart where the soldiers can patrol up and down. You know, make sure there's no bad guys trying to get on board. Once again, these are the balconies to the throne room. I'll take you in there just now. I went up to this point here, and I made this the end point over here because it just became a bit complicated to try and join up all these sections here and build up there. So I was just like, you know what, I'll make this the end here, and maybe what I'll do is I might build this area out here a bit more to create a wall, or I might actually make the face of this building as the other part of the security infrastructure so that people can't quite get in there. So this is the right rampart. Soldiers can walk up and down there, keep an eye on what's happening outside there, get down there. These upside down ice cream cones, for lack of a better word, could pretty much just be a good deterrent. Or I suppose technically you can't exactly get up here and try and, you know, scale this wall with all this here. So I suppose it's also a deterrent for the enemy. That's our right rampart, or rampart. Same story here. This is pretty much an exact duplicate of that part there in terms of the circular waiting area and break area. So same thing there with the inside. Right. This now is the left rampart. Similar story. Got a big open area over here. You know, a bit of a spot where people can just, where the soldiers can just relax, chill out when they're not patrolling. You know, and it's just a nice open area. Same story here. Another armory for the right ramparts. That's the whole point of this area here. That's for the right. Okay. So we come down here. Same story there. We got windows that lead out to the outward view to what's happening over there. You know, stick your bows on there. Shoot a couple of people running up the beach. Put the spears out there. People try to scale it. You walk down here. You walk down here. That is another area that I'll get to eventually. But this is part of the tavern. This section here. It's part of the tavern. That section there is part of the barracks. But we'll get there just now. Same story there. Another little open area here. Haven't quite decided what I want to do with this big open area over here. Maybe I'll make it a break area, relaxation area. Maybe I'll build out the foundation a bit more here and make it a bit more solid and link it up to there, you know, because let's be dead honest, if you've got the enemy at your gate over there, you also want another access point to the ramparts at the end of the day. So maybe that's what I'll do. I might just build this out and join it up to the barracks there, but we'll see. Walk up here, walk up to the stairs. We get into the left side of the rampart. Same story. soldiers can walk up and down here, keep their eye on what's happening there. You can actually hear you can hear a dancer inside there. But as I said, I'll show you a bit later on what's inside there and what's happening inside there. So ramparts coming here, coming there, soldiers come along here, keep an eye on the outside area over there, make sure nobody's trying to scale the area. This here is the tavern down the bottom there. I'll show that off just now. That there is the workshop. There's the top of the throne room. You can see a bit of the gate over there. And over here in this corner, well, just behind there is where we had the archery range. So come back down here. Pretty much where you see this wooden fence was pretty much the extent to where I could build. I couldn't really build much further than that. And it just adds a bit of character to the front there. To be dead honest, I wish this game had proper trees, because remember, this is a vanilla version of Conan Exile. I've got no mods on this game whatsoever, apart from all the DLC. It's pretty much the vanilla version, but you know, I wish there were a couple of trees that you could get from the game as part of the vanilla. You know, maybe we could put a couple of palm trees here, a couple of bushes, just make it a bit more interesting, because right now it's just sand really, and it's a bit boring. But unfortunately, limitations of what we have. This isn't exactly The Sims, to be dead honest, by any stretch of the imagination. So let's pretend we're coming up here. We're going to go into the courtyard or into the thoroughfare. Right, you can go through the doors on either end. I must probably walk with proper doors, or I'll just leave them open. I don't know, haven't decided yet. Trying to get a bit of symmetry. I'm a big proponent of symmetry. So you come up here. Now let me just say, excuse all the statues. I just threw all the statues here so I could see what was in the game. And you can see about each set of statues I've got little notice boards or signposts as to where I intend to put them. You know, so that's pretty much why it looks there. But what we'll almost probably do with this whole area here, let me just kind of like pop here and get a better longitudinal view. What I will almost probably do here is I'm thinking of maybe enclosing this area. So on the left and right side of this walkway, I'll put a couple of walls, put some pillars inside, put a couple of statues, or I might leave it open. I don't know. Haven't quite decided what I want to do. You know, it might look attractive if it becomes an enclosed area, might not, you know. It all depends once I remove these statues, whether or not it's going to be worth the effort. So, when we look up here, let's just get a bit of a better bird's eye view. Okay, bottom left corner where you see all those stairs, that's pretty much the throne room. Bottom right corner, that's down here, that's the tavern. Above the tavern we've got all the workshops. Then just behind the workshops you've got the barracks. Now I will take you to all these other places eventually, but you can see just on the left here there's the throne room. Then just after the throne room there's the religious area. Because Mitchell was the first religion that I could get my hands on, a priest, I pretty much made it the state religion at the end of the day. So Mitra, that's the state religion, that's the worship area, the temple area. I don't really want to close it in. I might close it at a later date, might not. Still deciding. Just remember, I'm going up the left side here. Just behind the worship area we've got the royal chambers. That's pretty much where the king would sit and meet. Us a more formal environment, shall I say. Well, not formal, but it's just a bit more, how can I say, businessy, for lack of a better word. I know that's not an English word, but it's just more businessy to have a chambers where there's a desk and an office and everything. Because I mean, the throne room, there's not much you can do when you're sitting on a throne and you've got 50 people in front of you and you have to start signing documents or start dealing with the more intricate matters of running a kingdom or taking over other civilizations and just pretty much conquering the world of Conan. So that's the entrance to the royal chambers. Then right at the very top, at the very end of the walkway, we've got the royal quarters. That's the royal household. That's pretty much where the king stays, the queen, the king's concubine. That's pretty much where they stay. Then you can see there, just to the right of the quarters, there's what look like 2 fingers or 3 fingers coming out of a area. That's an arena. Once again, that's linked to the barracks. I'll show you that just now. But you know what? Let's take you into the throne room. You know, the throne room was actually this part here, to be dead honest. So that part there where I'm looking now, where you see all the furnaces and the cauldrons. That was actually where this all started. This all started right over there. Then I pretty much just built out here, and I decided, you know what is a royal precinct without a throne room? Yeah, I could have made the throne room very low, but I thought, you know what, once you go inside there, you'll see why I made this so high. I tried not to make my builds too claustrophobic as best as I can. Try and make it big open areas, and that can sometimes be a reflection of one's wealth and power as well, if they are able to waste real estate with big open empty areas. Plus, to be dead honest, it just looks more attractive at the end, especially when you're starting to host, shall we say, your more prominent members of the community. So we got the stairs, you walk up the stairs, left and right, got a couple of statues. There are no massive rhyme or reason to why I use those statues there. They just looked attractive. No reason why I have those ceiling edges. I reserve the right to obviously change this decoration here once I get to the final version. But for now, it just had to look interesting. So you can see there's my sign there, throne room. Right, top of the stairs, we've got the left and right. I would like to think that the one on the left is the king, the one on the right is the queen. I'd like to imagine that. Once again, I used a couple of ceiling ramps to just create a bit of interest to the design. Put a couple of braziers in there, hanging from some support columns, just to make it look interesting. Hopefully, I'll come across other ways to just make your architecture look more fancy and more appealing. So, nonetheless, come up the stairs, itching to see the king, or maybe you're terrified to see the king because you're on the verge of having your head chopped off. Who knows? But nonetheless, come up here, doors get open, and boom, there we go. You get met by the inside, all lit up by orange flames with the braziers. In the middle, I've got, I think it's called the Statue of Refreshment, if I remember correctly. Got a couple of candles around there. While the candles are there, I don't know, maybe show sign of respect to the king, to the Statue of Refreshment. And I actually think that's a statue that's part of the Mitra religion. So, maybe that's just worshipping the god. Okay, so I won't quite go down the left and right sides just yet, so let's just stay on the top part for now. So we come down the middle here. I used a couple of the more flotsam, that's it, the more flotsam design elements, which is this rope and cobbled together wood and metal. That's part of the flotsam DLC at the end of the day. So is this gate, actually part of the flotsam DLC. So there's the gate from the other side. There's a ceiling, relatively high ceiling. So you come in the door there, you walk across here. I might put a couple of benches on the other side there where people sit and wait. I don't know, we'll see. Come around here, come around here. Now you get into the throne room proper. So left and right, I've got two Conan statues. In the middle, I've got an elevated platform where I will most probably sit the throne. Not probably, actually that's where the throne is going to go. Once again, these places are all empty. Haven't put much in the way of decorations just yet, but I'll do that eventually because the decorating part is going to take hours upon hours of effort and time. So come up here, there we go, you meet. I wouldn't want these pillars here, but once again, another limitation to the design where it's like if I didn't have these pillars here, a lot of these ceilings wouldn't have actually fitted in. So unfortunately, you have to make a plan. Maybe they'll start to release other bits and pieces that make the creation of big open areas like this easier to accomplish. I don't know. We'll just have to see what the developers have up their sleeves, because they seem to be pretty determined to create a very long-lasting game here. I mean, considering that we're now going into the whole new age of sorcery pack now, and also they're going to change a lot of other pretty much core gameplay elements. So nonetheless, thrones will go up there, statues on either side. This is the throne room. People come in here, kneel before the king, worship your grace, put praise on him, ask him for help, or hope that he's not going to get your head chopped off. If we come through here, once again, we just come down to a balcony, little open balcony area over here. Remember, that was the right side of the rampart, because there's the left side of the rampart. This is the right side of the rampart. That's that wall, that green area where I was going to put the break area or the break spot. So you come out here, get a bit of fresh air. Haven't put a roof over it. I don't know, we'll see about it. There's a little bit of the advanced areas or the more intermediate zones of the map. Back through here, okay. right? Nothing that side. Put a couple of decorations over there, right? Let's come down these stairs here, okay? And now these stairs lead down to what are known as the guest quarters. So this was pretty much where I suppose I'm looking at putting the king or putting the king's VIP guests at the end of the day. They can stay here, nothing too fancy. I don't know. Once again, I can change my mind with these areas here. This is just my initial vision of what I want to do. So guest quarters, nothing fancy, just standard open rooms, high ceilings, another little balcony over here, which is lower than the one at the bottom. That was where the throne room was. This is down the bottom here. Okay, open area. There's a bit more of that building that didn't spawn in yet. Right, through here. So this is room number 1. Okay, right. If we pop down here, off to our left, room number 2. Same story, nothing different, no change. Maybe I'll do individual themes per room. I don't know. I'm still thinking about it. Another balcony area over here. People can see, people can stand, enjoy the view if they like the sights of shipwrecks. Right, straight across here to room number 3. Same story, basic shape, nothing fancy. Through here, this will give you a bit more of the better idea of the back area of the building. Pretty much the throne room's almost pretty much done in terms of the architecture and design. The only thing left for me to do on this side is pretty much the internal organs and all the bits and pieces. So there's a Colosseum, we'll go there just now. Okay, there's a walkway, there's a back end of the royal quarters. Okay, and this is also the back end of so that's the royal quarters up the top there, and down the bottom there's the royal back end of the royal chamber. So we'll come back through here, down here, right, we'll come here, nothing there. This takes me down to the next spot. Now when you come down here, this is going to be the dining area. This is where almost probably will set up all the long tables, all the hearths, and pretty much this is where the king will entertain a lot of his guests that come through, especially those that stay in the guest areas up the top there. Put a couple of tables in there, hearths, fireplaces, bonfires, make it look homely and warm. That's a bit of a walkway that I'll show you just now that leads to a kitchen. This leads to the banquet area, which I'll show you just now. This is the lower part of that cylindrical center zone, so I'll show you that just now. But just in the back here, you got a little staircase that comes down here, and this I've decided to make, as the name says there, private entertainment. What that private entertainment is, well, I'll leave that up to your imagination. You can choose whatever you want it to be. But I was going to make this a kitchen, but then I thought, you know, I've got so many kitchens already, I don't have any more kitchens. You know, really, food's important, but not so important that I need 5 kitchens for every square inch of real estate that I've built on. So this is going to be a private entertainment area, decorated, make it look attractive. We'll come through here again, right? Entry, exit points if you want. And then we go in here to the big open banquet area. Now you can see why this is a big, tall, cylindrical section, because I just thought, you know what, I think it'll look pretty cool to have it multi-layered. I think it'll look very cool. So that's the platform. If I just pop up here, that's the platform where you came in. So there's the main entrance there. You walk there. There's a statue of refreshment through to the throne room. On this level here was the guest quarters. If I just pop down here, you'll see guest quarters. And then bottom floor, dining area, as you can see over here. So we've got the bonfire over there. We've got a big open area where people can mingle and mix and make some deals with the devils that may be, and, you know, figure out how they're going to take over the rest of the continent. And then over here we've got a VIP area. You can see it's pretty much joined to the guest quarters, because you would expect the guests to be your VIPs, really. So VIPs walk along here, boom, boom, boom. There's the VIP area. So if I come from this angle, you can see there they have a nice downward view of what's happening down there, and there's a set of stairs. Haven't quite done the railings over there, but I'll get to that. So come down here, and as the name says there, banquet hall, banquet area. Now this little door here, you can see, is a very long passage, and that will lead through to the royal chambers at the end of the day. You know, like you have a judge's chambers, where, you know, I mean, the judge doesn't sleep in his or her chambers. It's just called a judge's chambers because that's their office. So that's the royal chambers, just on the other side there at the end of the day. So come back up here, VIP area. You know, this can also be like a little VIP area. This is a walkway that leads out here. You can call this, if you want, a secret entrance, if you will, or maybe a very, you know, like sometimes there's guests that have, for lack of a better word, less than savory interests, or maybe you have guests that are coming through that you don't want everybody to see coming through via the main throne area. So you can always take them through this back entrance here, because remember, that's the main entrance over there. So come through here, they walk in here, boom, 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 and there we go. They're down through to the banquet hall. Now I've got a similar little situation up here, a VIP area. VIPs can walk out here, just gives them a bit of an open area. I didn't join it up for VIPs to walk up and down, because obviously over here I've got that bottom entrance that we just came along. So this is the top part, little area where they can come smoke their, I don't know if they even had cigars in this time period, to be dead honest, but I suppose they had pipes or some other form of tobacco that they smoked, or drug, I guess. So that's the back end of the statues. There's the other one over there. Okay, this is a closer view of that other statue, you know, as you walk up the stairs. There's a braziers in there, and there's the other statue up there. So this is pretty much this area over here. I haven't decided what I want to do here. It's an open area. You know, maybe I can make this a spot where the VIPs walk to come to the religious area or the worship area, or I might just shut it down and close it off and just put a window there or something at the end of the day. So this is pretty much the throne room. I'm not going to go through the rest of the build in this video, simply because, trust me, this is the first individual section, shall we call it, of 1, 2, 3, of at least another 7 or 8 sections. And obviously nobody wants to sit and listen to a boring voice for 3 hours talking about designs, and I've got no intention of doing a ton of editing anyway. So this is a throne room. You know, I appreciate the fact that you're willing to come through, click on the video, watch it. You know, this is just a brief view of what the throne room looks like. If obviously it would be appreciated, but it's not necessary. But if one chooses to comment on this video, I am always interested to hear other suggestions on, you know, what I can do, what I can add, something that can just make it look a bit more unique, you know, instead of just square rooms and square this. It's a pity that Conan Exiles doesn't have proper real circular floors and foundations, and you have to kind of like use all these wedges and squares to create something akin to a circle, even though it's not really a circle. It's more like a octagon slash well, not really a pentagon, but like an octagon, you know, all those funny gon names. So maybe one day they'll release circular designs and circular construction pieces, but for now you just kind of like have to make do with this kind of like middle point at the end of the day and create something that's somewhat circular. But before I close off this video, just quickly pop up here again. Nothing happening on the roof really. This is a roof. Obviously it's a flat area. I must probably get a couple of guards as well to be here. Maybe I'll make an entry point into the main building itself. There's a spot down there where there can be stairs that lead down there, you know, or maybe I'll just put some more statues up here. Maybe I'll even build even higher. I don't know what I'd really put on the top here, to be dead honest, because I've pretty much got every other part of my build sorted out in all these other sections, you know. So just to give you, you know, a bit of a closer look, because obviously when I gave you a wide view, a bird eyes view over there, I wasn't as close up. But let me come here once again. There's the worship area. There is the chambers, royal chambers. There's the royal quarters. There's the barracks over there, right? There's the workshops over there just in front of the statue, and then obviously down the bottom there where you can see the word tavern, that's going to be one of the taverns at the end of the day. So this is my build. This was the second part of the build that I did when I first started on this point here. This is where I continued, and that just pretty much gives a bird's eye view of what it looks like, you know. As I said, if you're willing to comment, it will be appreciated, but it's not necessary. But obviously if you do comment, I would love to hear some suggestions on, you know, what I can add there, what other design elements. As I said, I would definitely be changing the material that I'm using to build, because obviously all this brown is very boring at the end of the day. I mean, that's enough brown over there. We don't need any more brown over here. At least there's a bit of greenery in the back there, you know. But the truth of the matter being is that I don't want to go down the whole route now of spawning in all these other fancy materials, and then they just become a nightmare to work with. So I thought, bugger it, you know, sandstone's cheap enough, so let me just build with that. Okay, so thank you very much for sitting this long through the video. I really do appreciate it, and hopefully you'll come through and watch the next video. Thanks a lot, have a good one.